Coming up next on the 10 o'clock news, a live report with the latest information on a fatal bomb blast that ripped through a van on a quiet Bay Area street.
Oakland firefighters are battling a 4-alarm fire at this hour. These are late pictures just back from the scene.
A snowboarder is rescued after spending a freezing night lost in the Tahoe wilderness.
And the White House defense completes its opening arguments in the impeachment trial. Now it's the senators' turn to get into the act themselves.
The 10 o'clock news is next. Investigators say they know what caused the explosion that tore apart this van and killed a person. Now they want to know why. We'll have a live report.
San Francisco police say he was one of the best, an officer killed not during but following a shootout.
Now that both sides have completed their opening arguments, what happens next in the impeachment trial of President Clinton?
And why is the state of California hatching thousands of tiny Chinook salmon, only to sacrifice them before they're released in the wild? Those stories, all the news on this Thursday night, January 21st, 1999.
And now, the award-winning 10 o'clock news on Channel 2, the #1 primetime newscast in the country.
Good evening, I'm Leslie Griffith.
And I'm Dennis Richmond. The FBI tonight has joined the investigation into a deadly bomb blast that shattered a quiet Pacifica neighborhood early this morning. The explosion ripped apart a van and killed one person. Thuy Vu is in Pacifica with late details in this live report. Thuy?
Dennis, investigators spent the night continuing to search for evidence at the scene of the explosion. They found more body parts under the white van that blew up on the 300 block of Monterey Road. Agents from the FBI and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms have been out at the scene since early this morning. The explosion happened at about 3:20 a.m. One person was killed. Investigators have not determined yet if the person was a man or woman. Neighbors say the explosion was a rude awakening.
I knew that it wasn't a car backfiring. It was maybe about 10 times as loud as a car backfire. And it was a very all-encompassing boom.
The cargo door, whatever, the sliding door, whatever that was, but that was gone. I mean, it was in the front yard. And we started looking around a little bit to see if there's anybody there. And that's a piece of the leg right there on the sidewalk.
11 families were evacuated from the area. More than a dozen agents scoured the scene for evidence. The street was searched bit by bit. At one point, agents even climbed to the top of a roof. Investigators say they are not sure whether the person who was killed was inside the van or standing next to it.
It's my understanding that it was inside the van. Preliminary investigation revealed it was inside the van.
Investigators say it may take some time before they can determine the identity of the body.
The body sustained significant damage to dismember it.
I got home from work and some lady that lives right next door to where it happened, they had her stop right here in my driveway, and they go to start picking things off the hood of her car, and I guess it was fragments of the explosion, and it was just disgusting.
Authorities know who the white van is registered to, but they are not revealing whether they have found that person. They do say, however, that the van is apparently not connected to the house it was parked in front of. The mystery has many residents asking themselves, what is going on?
I'm sure everybody's had that thought, wondering who was the target.
Late tonight, the evacuated families were allowed to return. The coroner will conduct an autopsy tomorrow. Investigators hope to know then the identity of the person who was killed. Now, about 15 minutes ago, agents cleared the crime scene here and took down the police tape. The people who live on the street say they will try to get a good night's sleep, though that may be hard to do, given what has happened. Dennis, Leslie.
Thuy Vu, thank you.
Oakland firefighters are battling a 4-alarm fire at this hour. The fire is inside the Bluebird Body Shop at Fruitvale and East 12th Street in Oakland. Smoke is pouring out of the now broken windows of the 2-story structure, with most of the actual flames coming from the center of the facility. The fire was first reported around 8:30 tonight. As soon as fire crews got to the scene, they called for more assistance. The 4-alarm fire appears to be under control at this hour, but fire officials say that crews will stay on the scene all night long in case it flares up again. There are no damage estimates at this hour, but the building appears to be completely gutted. A new poll out tonight says the lack of affordable housing is now the #1 problem facing people in San Francisco. Realtors say that doesn't surprise them. Rent